Okay, so we would like to start the Conversations from Home series, volume number 3. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are welcoming today a special guest, Takashi Tomoka, photographer in Tokyo now, and then Deborah Kroto from the executive director and then chief curator at Museum of Photographic Arts. She's in San Diego. Thank you so much for joining us today. This event was actually planned in the last week, but we absorbed the news around the human rights movement. And we, as all of you, have been struggling with this sadness and pain in seeing what's happening today. And we, along with the art community, we are in support of equality to all people. And our mission, we believe, is to share the empathy and conversations with the world through the experience of works with our artists. So on behalf of our artists, we want to thank you so much. And then we want to stay focused and this feeling of connection and love and energy to be able to share art today all give us such encouragement and inspiration. So first of all, thank you so very much. And before we welcome Takashi Tomoka, I would like to introduce today's special guest, Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Shoko. It's so nice to be here. And like you, I want to echo, this is a very difficult time for everyone. Not only are we struggling through a pandemic, but the whole fabric of society and our expectations and how we relate to one another is undergoing change. And that's a good thing, but a difficult thing. So through today's conversation, it will demonstrate that the power of art to inform and to heal and to really guide us, I think, is going to be an important one. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you. And then before we welcome Takashi Tomoka waiting in early in the morning in Tokyo, I would like to start with a short video. Let me pull out this video and then share with you. So now I would like to introduce Takashi Tomoka. Hi, Takashi.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah. ご無沙汰してます。
Hi, how are you? It's been a while.
I know.
So Takashi, how have you been in Tokyo?
Yeah.
元気ですか?
元気です。
So he's very doing good. He has been very busy, but he's good, taking good.
So social isolation means you can still be with all of your plants, your flowers. So in a sense, this is no different for you.
人と離れてても植物とは一緒だからあんまり変わらないんじゃないんですかって。
そうですね。まあなんか、世の中割と今こんな感じになってますけど、植物関係なく咲いてくるので、本当
So
になんかそこら
regardless
辺
of
に
the world
励
and
ま
the
されて
state
ます。
of the world, he himself enjoy that and appreciate that nature is going on and then plants are just alive. That it gives him energy and he is so happy about that.
We actually are living in a time where nature is excelling at the moment because we've removed people from their everyday situations. Nature seems to be coming back in some big ways. So it's, I think, appropriate to be talking about your work at this time.
実際人の活動が減ることになって自然はある意味カムバックしている部分があるからこの時期に先生の作品について話すのはいい機会ですね。So I would like to actually introduce some of his recent works. Actually, we at Ipuro Gallery now starting one exhibition just opened yesterday, Lotus in Bloom. And this exhibition, we feature Takashi Tomoka's photography, which is the lotus, which is actually blooming now in Japan. The best season in this early summer, getting to the buds becoming stands up and then fresh leaves and then gem-like dewdrop on the big leaves. Such is a very seasonal in Japan. So here we are now introducing with some Japanese poems and then literature. We are now opening this beautiful exhibition with our new viewing room online showcasing. And then growing from muddy water, the lotus flowers representing purity, clarity, light, harmony, and that's why it's often used as a symbol of Buddhism, as a wisdom. And then that time in this big dark time, that lotus brings some light and then some beauty for us to strive today and then stand together. So after this conversation, please let us know if you have any question about the show. And then this is about the show, and then we have his exhibition. Regardless of his exhibition, Takashi Tomoka's photography is always capturing the beauty of nature, especially those flowers, plants. And then I would like to introduce a little bit about the artist because he will talk about his life later, but I would like to just briefly introduce about him. He was born in Kyoto in 1971, the son of a bamboo basket father, bamboo basket weaver father, and mother was a dressmaker in Kyoto. And Tomooka often accompanied with his father to bamboo forests, and then since he was little, he had very close contact with nature and plants. And his love and passion is starting from this background, which is nature. And he first interested in art from an early age when he was very little. His first great love was the Renaissance, actually. And from about the age of 7, he produced copies of works by Da Vinci and Raphael and such. And so he wanted to become a painter. Then he was interested in the realistic painting, almost like a photograph. Now what he's doing is that he's more making a painting look like photography. So this is something we want to talk about it today. And since he was in Kyoto, so he had plenty opportunity to come into contact with wonderful traditional temples, Japanese arts, histories, becoming interested in Japanese painters, obviously, like Ito Jakuchu or Maruyama Okyo. And however, it was so difficult for him to choose as a painter, as a life. He became a student of design at college. Then he started and then encountered a camera photography world. And then we would like to ask more questions about his history later. But as you can see, he produces careful sketches of the plants, positioning and compositions, and then preparing a lot background before the one shoot. And he uses Japanese washi paper to print that soften the crisp brightness of photography, that the tuning of the ink. So, and also his ratio of the photographies from traditional Japanese calligraphy paper. So something very unique about him, his work. And then we actually, Ippodo Gallery, present his work many times in traditional scrolls and then byobu way. So we appreciate his work is a somehow fusion of tradition and then modernity. And then, so I would probably describe his work is a painting like photograph. So Takashi and then Deborah, why don't you open your conversation and then ask any questions or any impressions?
Well, thank you. And so I'm going to talk for a bit, mostly because the translation back and forth, but I just want to put his work in perspective. First of all, I think I first encountered his work in about 2012, and then we actually were able to take collectors to Tokyo because Ippodo Gallery is based both in New York and in Tokyo. And we were able to meet with him and see his work in the gallery. And we actually have quite a few collectors in our area, people that really have embraced his work. I liked the work from the first moment that I saw it, because while it embraces so much of Japanese art traditions, but at the same time, it's visually really quite stunning. And there's an eloquent beauty to the work. And one of the things that is so important, I think, to understand is that, especially if you look at the bottom, well, I don't know if we can go back a slide. If you look at the bottom of the Morning Glory, you can see that it's a dried up leaf. So part of the beauty is the aging and the decay. And that is something that is not as comfortable a concept in Western art tradition, but is something that's very important in Takeshi's work and as part of wabi-sabi concept, which is beauty in imperfection. And so it makes the works even, in my mind, more beautiful. Because we get a sense of time, we get a sense of their fragility, and also the strong approach to, while it references scroll paintings and the idea of calligraphy as Shoko mentioned, it's also about the lack of perspective. So there's that flat eye perspective, there's not a shadow detail. And again, that is more of a Japanese aesthetic tradition than it is a Western. And also the fact that he is including the landscape format, which we just saw, but this one of, I believe it was a lotus, a dead leaf and stem to something like this, which is in full bloom and beautiful wisteria, going across multiple image papers. Wasabi, washi paper is handmade and not spicy. No, it's handmade paper, which is very important part of the concept. And as you heard from his description, he comes from a family of people who are used to working with their hands. His father is a craftsman, and craft it is an art in Japan. In the West, we tend to separate craft from fine art, but in Japan, there's not that separation. So to be a basket maker is to be an artist. And the fact that his mother was working in a tactile, in dressmaking, handling fabric, creating, I think is a really good legacy for an artist such as Takashi. The other thing that's important to understand is not just his art training in painting, but even in high school, he worked part-time with a florist. And then he also worked with a landscape gardener at a temple, so caring for the temple gardens. His relationship with his subject is very intimate. And I think that's also something that we need to be very aware of in seeing this work. And Shoko, can I keep talking, or do you want me to ask him more questions?
So I would like to first just briefly share what you said to Takashi. So Takashi, 友岡先生の作品についてデボラの印象としては、やはりそのお父様が竹かご作家であったり、お母様がものづくり、洋服を作っていたという経験の中で養われた感性っていうか、日本でいうと工芸というそのテクニックを使って、で、その西洋ではなかなか訳しきれないですけども、その工芸というジャンルでのご家庭に育った。で、その中で植物に触れて、さらに日本のその庭園での経験などがあって、そのジャパニーズガーデンでのその経験などがあって、そういったその全ての要素がいろいろ盛り込まれて、友岡先生の世界観っていうものはやはりそのとても日本的だし、やっぱりその枯れていく姿とかまだ咲いていないところとかにそのフューチャーするっていうのは自分の知る限り西洋的ではなくてやはり日本的だというお話をされていて、もしよかったら友岡先生が最近育てている経験などを交えてお話ししていただけませんでしょうか。
例えば枯れてるとか、これから朽ちていくとかっていう、植物のそのサイクルみたいなことを考えると、それが次への準備でもあるので、特に今画面に出てますけど、これハスの花なんですけど、このハスの花なんかも花が終わって枯れていくっていうことは次の年にまた花を咲かせるための準備にも入ってるっていうふうにやっぱり思うんですね。だからその、枯れていくとかっていうことをあまりこうマイナスには思わないというか。
So Deborah, what you sharing what you think about his work. For him, it's very natural as if he lives with nature and then see the everyday plant every single day. Every single day is a highlighting for their each life. So there is no too early or there is no too old. For him, every day the life blooms and rises. So that moment he is always inspired. So he is happy that you share how you thought about it. And then he is now sharing how he is currently walking with the lotus. 先生、何かこの写真からの話とかありますか？あるいはもう少し。
これ、今出てる写真はその一つ前が、京都にある、ハスの生産者のところの写真なんですけど。
So now what you are seeing is that in Kyoto, one of the biggest producers of lotus in Kyoto.
ここの、発数をずっと撮影していて、で、まあ、今出てるここは、東京にあるお寺なんですけど、
And
こ
this
こ
is
に
the
はもう、
temple in Tokyo, actually, where he is living now, Tokyo. And then he has been taking pictures of those lotuses in both from those people who produce lotuses.
これはもう植え替え毎年、してるところです。
Every year, because his passion and motivation is always from the plants and then flowers and nature. So he always raise and grow by himself. So what he's doing currently, changing this earth and also cuts the lotus roots. It's not like what we see in the picture. This is very muddy and then a little chaotic to me, but now this season, the flowers are blooming. So, Deborah, did you want to continue your point?
Yes. So, so there's actually a couple of questions that have come up and that I'll just address briefly. But one of the reasons we're having this conversation about the images of flowers is that the process that Takeshi goes through is very intimate and very involved. He is involved with them throughout their life cycle. And many of the plants he grows and keeps, you know, on his balcony. So he sees them at different times of day. He also has to work fairly quickly. But, and that, Joe, this is sort of in response to your question. I think his images are powerful and they speak for themselves. But when we look into the story behind them, they become even richer and more layered. And the fact is, you want to think about Takeshi and his approach to work as almost performance art, because there's a lot, but it's performance art that we only get to see the end result. So he is intimately involved, has always been involved, and have a love for these nature, these images from nature, and he's pulling them out of their natural background so that we can just engage directly with them. And in addition, he talks about the fact that sometimes he has to work fairly quickly. The morning glories that you saw, if you take them from the soil, if you cut them, there's only a few minutes that they'll stay in bloom before they wither. So that's really an important part of it. And so like the image you're just seeing here, you're seeing kind of a life cycle of the plant. And that's part of how he chooses. It's seasonal. So he's not really forcing these in a hothouse, but he's dealing with them in a seasonal way. So that's part of the choice. And then the other is there's also symbolism, as Shoko was explaining with the lotus, that we might not understand in Western culture because we have symbolism for other flowers and different meaning for it. But in Japan, the cherry blossom has a rich history, the lotus, and again, this idea of showing the imperfect is really, really important. So I hope that helps a little bit.
That's a beautiful comment, thank you. And then in fact, Deborah visited in Japan at Tokyo Ippudo Gallery in 2014?
14.
Yes, so that was actually the screen of and then Ippudo Gallery Tokyo owner Keiko Aono, she's my mother, mounted on this screen the beautiful minimalistic approach, and it's so beautiful on tatami room. It's so sweet to see this memory here. So Takashi, やはりその植物を育てていくっていうことにまずその情熱があるっていう、その辺のきっかけというかお話というか、なんで絵描きじゃなくて写真家になった、そういうお話ぜひ聞かせていただけませんか。
もともとは子供の頃はその絵描き、画家に憧れて、もう毎日のように絵を描いていたんですね。 で、
So
だんだん
when he was little, he really wanted to become, actually, he said Da Vinci. Uh, and he really desired to become like the painter when he was little.
それで、まあ学校がだんだんこう高校、大学と上がっていくうちに、そのデザインの方に進むようになって、でそこ
And then
で、
gradually he's shifting after elementary, after high school, and the education, he started to became interested in design, and he majored design in the college.
そこでまあ写真と出会って、まずそこで写真に出会って、写真に惹かれたっていうきっかけっていうのが、その写真が生まれた頃の古典技法と言われているものですね。その絵を見て、今の写真、こうリアルな写真じゃなくて、もっと絵のようなというか版画のような絵を見て、それがやりたいっていうふうになったんですよね。
So he was first interested in design, and then he encountered the photography world. And then, first of all, he became fascinated by the traditional photography world, no digital, more like a traditional, which he thought it's more painting-like, like a pictorialism painting. I'm sorry, photography world.
そうですね。そこからまあ10年ぐらい結局、まあオルタナティブプロセスフォトグラフ。
Alternative process photograph. So he's learned many chemicals and then dark room and then more like a scientific
ちょっとデボラさんになんかオルタナティブプロセスで合ってるのかどうかよく聞いてほしいけど。
Deborah, he asked a question, but when you say alternative photography, alternative process photography, is it something definitive, like what he learned in the early time in college? He first studied in Japanese alternative process photography. That's how we call that in Western.
Alternative process, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Alternative process for us means not gelatin silver. So blueprint, cyanotype, those kinds of things. But I connected to the design studies, and it goes to a question we're getting, and this is from Julie. And Julie, your timing is great, because what I wanted to do was talk about how you use the space, because the subject and the space are equally important in your work. And it was very interesting in the beginning, and to see you sketching. So you're thinking about how they're fitting within that particular space. And, but it really is, I don't want to say negative space, but the background space versus the subject space, there's always a balance. And if you could talk about that a little bit and what meaning that has for you.
そしたら友岡先生、その技術的なことは説明いただいた通りなんですけども、やっぱり見ていてすごく構図だとかその余白だとかそういったものが写真の世界観になっている。だからそういう言ってみれば絵的な世界っていうことはよく分かっているつもりで、先生の今お話を続けてください。でもそれでアプローチについてもお話しいただければと思います。
そうです。その絵画主義と言われている写真を見て、そこから写真に入っていくんですけど、結局それって写真って結構データでこう構成されているというか、特に自分がやっていたその古典技法っていうのは、薬品調合して、それで写真を作っていくので、温度、湿度、本当になんかいろんな条件を全部データで取って、それを作品にしていくんですけど、結局その作業が苦しいんですよね。だから写真本来自分が絵を描いてた頃の楽しさはもうそこにはだんだん薄れていったという。
So he was very desiring that the delight and then the joyfulness of the painting when he entered into the photography world, for some reason, it became more about technique, more about chemicals, more about different perspectives. So he was becoming a little bit tired about this technique or chemical or scientific elements were too much on him. So first he was very interested in the pictorialism photography, but unfortunately that scientific approach was not his nature. So, それで
それで、結局絵画主義って言われて、古典技法っていうのを、一度やめることになるんですけど、そこから、2、3年してから、その植物を取り始めるんですね。で、その植物を取り始めたときに、やっぱりその植物っていうのは昔から自分の、身近にあったものだし、やっぱりなんか好きなものっていう、まあそういう感覚があったので、すごくまあ楽しかったんですよね。で、まあなんかその植物、まあ写真なので、その植物がないと、その作品は成立しないので、その植物にもっと向き合うべきだっていうことで、やっぱり自分で育てたりだとか、山に入って植物を採取してきたりだとか、なるべくこう近づくようにしましたね。
So when he was giving up like a process and then technique and then scientific approach, after 10 years of his study, he had some kind of a refreshing period of time not doing any traditional photography. However, he became back to his own love and then his nature side, which was his love of plants and flowers and trees, and then since he was little. So he became back to the original interest, and then he took such care of raising and then be close to the nature. And then that became his main subject.
So do you find yourself more comfortable with digital photography?
デジタル写真の方が、デジタル写真の方が居心地いいですかって。
今、まあ、デジタルになって、昔ほどその研究のようなデータを取るってことがなくなって、で、今でも一つのスタイルをもう決めてしまって、あとは植物によって多少こう修正していくんですけど、それをやったことによって、そこにかかる負担が減ったので、もっと植物の方に寄り添っていけるっていう感じになりましたね。
So now, because of the digital technology, he can focus his passion and time into the plants more, not just technique of the chemicals and science. He can now pour his energy to the plants. So he is comfortable with digital photography.
So what we're seeing, though, is not a digitally manipulated image. We're seeing you're completely setting everything up, lighting, and making a photograph on the spot. Do you do any Photoshop?
先生、その作品の写真を撮ってから、フォトショップは使いますかっていう質問です。
使います。デジタルで撮影するので、そのデータを一度パソコンに取り込んで、そこから、まあ、パソコン内での現像作業っていうのをして、で、まあ、写真のそのカメラ自体持ってるそのセンサーの比率というか、その写真の比率を自分の場合は、例えばもっと縦長にしたりとか、それは自分の作品の比率っていうのは書道の書のまあ、本画線とかその紙のその比率になってるんですけど、そこにはめ込むにはやはりそういう例えばフォトショップだとかそういうものでこう最終的なレイアウトをしていくっていう感じですね。
So, he, as you saw in the video, he produces very careful sketches of the plants and positioning and composition beforehand, because the once he cuts the tree or even he bring the plant to his studio, the life is very ephemeral and very moment. So he wants to be really ready for the plant to capture the moment. And then as for your question, he uses Photoshop. He downloads the image and then he work on the file digitally too.
But he's not moving physically, like moving a leaf or.
でもその葉っぱを動かしたり枝を動かしたりそういうことはしないって言って。
しない。
But his policy is that, as Deborah knows very well, his policy, however, does not touch anything on the plant itself. He will retouch after the photo shoot. However, he does not interfere. For example, cut the leaf off or change the direction of the branch artificially, or he does not do anything. He just let the nature be. So
and I think that's important for people to understand because they're so exquisite and there's such a beauty. So it's I think important for them to understand. And I'm just looking at some more questions. So he wants to know, how are these shot? Is he shooting down on a flat surface or shooting like we would do a portrait?
この写真のその撮り方についてもちょっと聞きたいんですけどっていうことなんですけども。
はい。OK。
Do you understand the question?
So you ask about some background technique to put the plants in.
So when he sets up a flower to photograph, is he laying it down and shooting from above?
Okay.
Or is he standing it like this and shooting straight on?
その植物を置いて、その実際そのどういうふうに構成していくのかっていうことに関してちょっと興味があるみたいなんですけども。
でもそれは非常に簡単で、例えば自分で育ててる植物をその白い背景の前で、再現するので、植物がどういうふうになってるかっていうのをそのまま、例えば上からこう垂れてくるような植物であれば、上からこう吊るすっていうようなことはしてますね。
So he has somehow equipments to, for example, big clip to hang the vane from the top, or make a stretch with the cords to stretch out the space each other of the big plants, or some sort of approach he does. But again, he does not cut or change or so. And also, I remember that he does not want to change the original color of the flowers. So he does not do saturation or such kind of effects. He does not do anything, which I understood.
Okay. So we have another question from one of the viewers, Tor, and it's a very good question because since he's so intimately involved and it's so much about the experience and relationship with the plant, after he makes the image and makes the print, does he feel differently about how he looks at the finished photograph right after he makes it, and then maybe when he goes back in a year or two, does he see different things?
先生は植物を取ってからそのフィニッシュ、結局その出来上がりの完成に対して満足いかないこともあったり、あるいはその状態をその撮った写真を2年ぐらい待ったり、なんかそういうふうにしますか？つまり撮った写真はすごく自分の中でイメージと近いのか、あるいはすごく違ってしまって残念な結果も多いのか、その辺を聞きたいってことですね。
撮影する前にその植物を、観察というか、そうですね、育ててたりするので、その日々、それを見てるんですよね。で、なんとなくその 例えば花が咲いたところを撮ろうってなった時は、そのつぼみの段階からもうなんとなく絵はもうイメージできていて、それを枝ぶりとかを見て、どういうふうな、構図を作ろうかっていうのは、もうちょっとこうスケッチをしてみたりっていうので決まってるんですね。だから、まあ、ほとんど
So
写
for
真
your
を撮る前
question,
に決
Deborah,
まってる。
yes, so since he's always observing the plant every single day, he has some certain vision when he's ready to take a photo shoot. So as for the finish, it's quite close to what he wanted. And then because he really observed the plant every day, so he knows the nature, he feels it. And so as for the finish, he really know what he wants. Is that
Okay.
answered, Deborah? Thank you for those questions. I see those participants chats now, comments and questions, which is great. So we want to leave those questions to the Q&A session as well. But Deborah, do you pick any other comments or questions? Or
Well, it's the only other thing is, well, I actually find it easy because people will come up with some more questions. And, you know, one of the things that, one of these questions is actually pretty intriguing, where, and Cindy, I'm going to call you out to everybody, but you're talking about, we use the term beauty when we're looking at his work, and you're saying that it's rare, it's getting rare to see works that are beautiful. And so, because so many contemporary artists are focusing on social issues, and so how do you justify works that are just beautiful? And I'm going to answer that, and then I'm going to let you get Takashi to answer that. One is, I don't think they are just beautiful. They are certainly beautiful to look at, but they are so layered with meaning, and they are so layered with tradition and Japanese aesthetic and the journey that the artist takes in his relationship to the world and nature and the environment. And so while at first glance they are beautiful, they speak on so many more levels than that. And I think that, you know, but sort of a tangent to that is it's okay for beauty at any time. And not everything has to be purely social, you know, in their focus. So it's, but again, the more, that's why we have conversations like this, because the more we learn about the work, the more we learn about how it's made, why it's made, we begin to see the depth of meaning and importance and impact. That's what is so appealing about Takeshi's work, is that it is rich with layers. And so it's a joy and a privilege to appreciate it. There are beautiful things that aren't that deep, but I don't call them beautiful. If you hear me say pretty, that's my secret word for saying it's not as rich and as deep. But there's nothing wrong with beauty. But again, these are much more than just beautiful pictures.
Thank you for those beautiful comments. So, Takashi, その参加者の中でいくつか質問とかが来てて、それを読み上げてたんですけども、その中でその美しい、ビューティーっていう、美っていうものですよね。それをすごくとかくビューティーって言ってしまったらすごくこう単純なものというか、もう美ってなったら美しいものでそれで OK なのかっていう。でもデボラさんの友果先生に対する作品の気持ちはただの美を取ってるわけではないと。そこにもっと深いレイヤーというか層があって、英語で言うとその pretty っていう言葉遣い、かわいいねって、日本語で言うとそういうかわいいねっていうのは多分もう少しその単純に見た目が美しいとか いうことかもしれないんだけども、彼女が思うその友果先生のビューティーっていうのはもっと層の深いものであって、そういうものを感じちゃうんですということでおっしゃったんですね。その辺
それ
は。
難しいな。なんかまあ自分ではよくわからない部分もあるんですけど、まあ、その、僕が今作ろうとしているものは、誰が見ても美しいものっていうのは作りたいんですね。
He for sure would like to achieve something beautiful for everybody.
でも、
It sounds a little bit superficial, but it does not mean superficial. He means a lot. If he wants to do something beautiful, it should relate to all the people he wants to believe.
で、
and I think you succeed.
それうまくいってますよって、成功してます。
で、それはずっと頭にあって、だけども、そうじゃないと人は見てくれないっていうのがまず一つあったので、そういう作り方をしたっていうのはあるんですね。だけど、それ以上にその植物が持ってるものっていうのは、自分がこう、コントロールできないところっていうのは、もうたくさんあるんで、自分がこうしたら綺麗なのにっていうふうにはやっぱりうまくいかないですよね。だからそうなってくると、自分だけのイメージではもう物は作れなくなってしまうので、どちらかというともう本当にこう植物側に僕がこう飛び込んでいかないと、うまく作れないっていうのは分かってきたというか、まあ、そういうふうに今作ってますね。
So at the same time, it's a challenge that if you are close to nature, nature is out of control. Nature is what you don't plan. So as a subject, nature is always beyond him, out of control. So now he is interacting to the nature, not just the subject, but he wants to drawn into the plant itself, like how they rise and then bloom and then breathe. And then, so for him, going back to the plant and nature is a process. And then through the process, probably somehow universal beauty can produce. It's not his idea or his plan. It's just nature. It's beautiful for all people. So if he can achieve that, that is his success. He thinks.
Very good.
So
do you have more slides?
Sure.
Okay.
So Deborah, you want to talk about the slides?
Well, I was going to reference the work of German photographer Karl Blossfeld, but I'm only going to do it for a short bit because I think we've had such a rich conversation about Takeshi's work. But I wanted something as a comparison. And Karl Blossfeld was born in Germany in 1865, and he actually studied art, studied sculpture. And taught sculpture from using nature and plant forms. And then he turned to photography. He didn't study photography, but he built his own camera with a special lens so that he could go very close up. And he was part of this whole movement that began in Germany called Neue Sachlichkeit, or New Objectivity, which was seeing everyday objects in new and different ways. But there, for his work, and especially if you go back in a slide, Millie, you can see there's a dimensionality and a shadow to it that is different than the lighter white background, and the use of space is different. These are design elements from a natural perspective. And so, you know, something that was going on in the 1930s 1929, 1930s. But just to give you a different feel to the work that Takeshi is doing. So again, I just wanted to kind of share that. But I think it would be good to go back to images from Takeshi, and then maybe, I don't know if you wanted to take more questions from people.
Let's actually take picture. Now is a good time for open conversation. So let's do it. So everybody now feel free to turn on your sound, unmute it, and then any comments or questions?
Hello?
Hello?
I would like for Takashi to describe his approach to lighting. Most of his images are light and airy with the white negative space. And he seems to have accomplished the same thing with light.
先生、光について聞きたいそうです。
はい。
照明について。
照明、使ってる照明ですかね。
っていうか、どのようにしてこのフラットな影のない。
写真もそうですし、絵画もそうだけど、基本的にはその一つの光からの、影が美しいというか、で、光を作るときに、一番重要なことは影を見ることだと思うので、その影の柔らかさだとか、強弱なのかも、そういうところで作ってますね。例えば光が大きくなれば影はもっと柔らかくなるしみたいな感じで作ってはいきますね。で、もう一つ植物によってその影がもう少し明るい方がいいとか暗い方がいいとかっていうことのために光を当てたその逆側ですね。光を受ける側のところにその白から黒までその何段階もグレーの、こういう、紙のチップみたいなものがあってそれで一つ一つこう影をコントロールしていくんですよね。その作業はなんとなくこう絵を描いてるようなイメージというか。
So more than he is taking care of the light, he is really serious taking care of the shadow. So more the bigger light, the shadow is milder. More the light is strong and focused, the shadow is contrasty and strong. So he enjoys plant and nature because of the light and shadow. So he's such taking care of shadow. Then he uses this gray panels to control the light. That's his working. で、友川先生、今のところからそのスタジオをちょっと見せるってことはできますか？難しい？
いや、どうだろう。さっき僕移動しないといけないけど。ちょっといいです。
So did I translate into English, Deborah? I forgot. I'm sorry.
I think so, but I was reading the next question. So talked about the light being important. The bigger the light, the smaller the shadow. That's the last that I remember. But we have a question from Bob Mackey, who owns one of the scroll pieces. And this is a technical question, which I will read because I do not understand what it means. Are you taking multiple images to focus, stack them in Photoshop?
先生はその一つの写真に対して何個もその写真を用意してフォトショップしてるんですよね。
Focus stack?
Stack.
たくさんありますね。それは結局僕が
many ways and many stacks.
でそれが全部作品にならないのは僕が植物にこう、力の差で 僕が作品にできないっていうだけで、
if you if okay, so he has so many pictures he takes, but if he does not, he cannot able to, he is not able to capture the nature itself, somehow he fail. So if he can just capture the nature, he succeeds. So there are many pictures and faders and then stacks.
Okay. So Bob, I hope that answers your question because I don't even know what the answer means. So okay.
Oh my goodness.
Depth of field. Stacking in Photoshop has to do with depth of field. Okay. So thank you, Marv. I'm learning something today. I have a question, and that is the landscape format, the horizontal format. Is that a traditional format in Japanese scroll paintings or in calligraphy?
先生、この横長のその分率というかバランスっていうのは日本では書道とかそういったものに親しんでるものなんですかって。
まあ、今これ出てるものっていうのも、本当はもともと縦で使ってるものというか使ってたんですね。で、これ今2つこう合わせた比率っていうのが一応基本的な形として、それの、半分のサイズとさらに半分のサイズとっていう、まあ、その一番最初の大元の基本となる比率っていうのはこれ2枚をこう合わせた状態で、その縦で、まあ、作品作っていたんですけど、横の使い方の方がその植物にとっては植物によっては非常にこう構図が作りやすくなったっていうのがあるので、まあその結局
traditional calligraphy and also even the painting scroll in Japan and in there are many examples you can see, but like scrolls and even the horizontal, and then depends on the plants. He appreciate this ratio of this vertical better sometimes, but for example that particular piece he started to plan for the vertical image, but once he cuts in the picture he appreciate more wider angle for this particular composition, so he play with it, and then he likes both vertical and horizontal.
No, I can tell that they work, but I just wanted to know where the tradition came from.
Thank you.
でこれもその比率を決めたのは結局そこで一つこうルールを作って、まあ、さっきお話ししたみたいにその工程いろんなその技術的なところであまりこう力を使うと肝心の絵が作れなくなっていったり植物の面倒を見れなくなったりっていうなんかそこの、労力をなるべく減らしたいっていうのもあって、でそれでもある程度自分の中でのその作品に関しては比率っていうのを何パターンかっていうふうにも決めてしまったんですね。
Shoko, there's a question from Mauricio about printing on washi paper, and could he talk about the process, the difficulties, any tips?
和紙に印刷をするということに関してどういう考えですか？また技術的なすごいチャレンジがあるとか。
それはさっきお話ししたその古典技法の写真をやってた頃からその和紙にはずっと挑戦していたんですね。で、結局
he started traditional photography in college. He has been always interested in and even working with washi, Japanese paper, traditional paper, fiber from Japanese mulberry.
Mulberry, okay.
で、やっぱり和紙の風合いというか、 まあ、美しくプリントできる紙っていうのはたくさんありますけど、その中でもやっぱり多少の滲みがあったりとか、多少こう、荒くなったりっていう、その風合いがやっぱり自分はすごく気に入っていましたね。
He likes washi paper because that ink somehow a little absorbed and then it kills the sharp contrast. He appreciates this very soft and then warmer absorbed texture and quality on the paper. So that's his preference. But obviously it's a very challenging to print
多
on
分、
washi paper.
画家になりたかったっていうのもそこにあるかもわからないです。
And then again, he wanted to become a painter, and he was very familiar with Japanese traditional paintings since he was in Kyoto and he was surrounded by those masters and traditions. So for him, Japanese washi paper was very close to him. And then このやっぱり写真を和紙に印刷するのにすごくやっぱり苦労されたんじゃないですか？
まあどうでしょうね。そこも今はいろんな紙が、まあなんか日本ではその和紙でインクジェット対応してる、インクジェットプリンターでプリントできるっていう紙がたくさんあるので、で、そういうものを使ったりもするので、その中でもやっぱりいろんな地方に、日本全国いろんなところにそういう和紙っていうのはあるので、それを全部取り寄せて自分の作品に合う和紙を探していくっていう作業ですかね。
He has been looking for a variety of Japanese papers from all over Japan, and he try and then test, and then he pick what he wants, and then so that was a long process, and it is still going on, this process of choosing the right paper for each picture. And then as for the technique, he has those, as you know, that technology with inkjet is growing. So once you get used to, it is okay to him. But more importantly, how he picks right paper for his work, he actually take care of it.
So I have two questions about that. Does he put any kind of coating on the paper before he prints? And does he mount the paper before he prints?
写真を印刷する前に和紙をコーティングしますか？それから写真を印刷する前にその裏打ちをしますかっていう。
その紙に関しては今もう何年もこう買わせていただいているところのその、コーティングっていうのを今使ってる、コーティングされているものを使っているので、
So
そこら辺
now
に
using is that the paper, when he get the paper itself in the market, that paper itself already have a coating. So what
で
he gets
その
from
裏打
the
ち
market is already coated.
裏打ちは必ず今はしてますね。その
And then also for your question, mounting, yes, before he print, he mount on the different paper.
Because it's very thin and it would have
Very,
to, it
very
would
thin.
tear apart.
Absolutely, very thin. 薄いから大変でしょうね。
で、その結局裏打ちをするときのその糊が、写真の表面までこう回ってくるんですけど、それで写真の保護にも多分なってはいると思うんですね。その小麦だとか米だとかの。
Mounting the glue can be somehow protector of the foundation of the paper. So he uses the paper already coated and already mounted.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've learned a lot today. And another question I have, you mentioned that the Lotus is on your online exhibition. Are all those works available for sale if people are interested?
Yes. So now this exhibition just started yesterday, and then it's on our viewing room. So feel free to contact us, mail at ippodogallery.com, and then also the website. It's I'm gonna show you the website. Sorry, I am operating many things here. Here, okay, so. Now, is it sharing or not?
No.
No, okay.
While you're looking for that, what I wanted to do is thank everybody and certainly thank Shoko and Ippodo Gallery for inviting me to be part of this conversation. It's always a pleasure to talk about such fantastic work and to see it and learn more about the process. And actually, thank you for the brief inside visit to your studio. I know it's a small space, but it's always interesting to see where you, where you actually are making the photographs. So thank you for that inside view. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Deborah. It means very important nowadays in the current state of world that how we can share the beauty and art, and then that's how we can stand stronger and we can be courageous to have this long and then tough journey we are now facing. So thank you for asking. Here we currently, Ippodo Gallery is transferring to the new website system. So here is a website, ippodogallery.artlogic.net. We can show you the Lotus in Bloom show, the exhibition, and then each piece is now for sales. And then before, I would like to also mention about that we are now working and then making an auction for the current situation. We would like to express our solidarity for our Black community. We are holding an open auction starting June 10th until June 18th for one photograph piece of Takashi. And then let me show you the okay, so here is this. Thank you for waiting. So now this piece, Lotus, 友果先生、このロータスは新如蓮というホワイトロータス。The White Lotus painting now it's already mounted and then on the Japanese frame. For the more questions, we are welcoming any questions now or even email, but all proceeds for this auction will be donated across organizations focused on combating racial injustice, Black Lives Matter, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, and the Equal Justice Initiative. And more questions, feel free to email us, contact us. But this is the piece we are now putting on open auction.
So do you have dimensions and what the starting price will be, the starting bid?
So the starting price is $900. The retail price is $2,500. And then reserve price we put now $1,500. So the dimension is that it's actually on the website, but I may see here. Sorry for the clumsy thing, but
Or if not, you know, a rough
here you
idea.
go. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. That really helped. So the size of the frame is that height is 36, and then width is 9
Inches.
Inches.
Okay.
Mhm. It's quite a long vertical piece. And then again, in this time, the lotus is such symbolic in blooming from the mud. We can still bloom and then rise the beauty. So especially Takashi Tomoka, he worked when he was a college student, as you mentioned, he was helping the landscape gardener in Kyoto. Very important temples. たかし、どんなお寺で仕事されてましたっけ？庭師として。
平等院とか、
平等院。
龍安寺。
So the Ryoanji temple or Byodo-in temple. So those experience, he's learned somehow Buddhism approach, and then one of his favorite flower is obviously lotus. So it's very seasonal now, and we are very delighted to open this first viewing room and then online exhibition with his work. And again, Deborah, thank you so much for this amazing collaboration, and that brought us many aspects to enjoy his work.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. And Takeshi, it's good to see you. Thank you. See you.
So I hope one day Deborah can come back to Japan, and then also Takashi can come back to, and then here is our friend. So we want to share about when Takashi and I, how are you?
Hi.
So when
Hello.
Takashi was in Los Angeles and then stopped by San Diego, he actually forgot his passport, and then we could not get in the train back to Los Angeles from San Diego. So you drove us from San Diego to Los Angeles, and then we stayed at your home actually all crazy time, but we never forget that.
Well, it was a good time, and the dogs loved it, so they say hello. And but anyway, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Deborah. So we are very happy. Thank you so much, all the audience today, Deborah and Takashi, and then let's take care of each other and then stand together, and then have a wonderful summer. Please stay well, and then stay well. Thank you so much.
And everybody bid on that photograph. It's really beautiful and wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank everybody.
So much.